Today, we continue to reflect on Johnny Gaudreau's legacy on and off the ice.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess Belmosto, and thank you so much for joining me. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. We learned a lot about the Gaudreau brothers this weekend, and I really wanted to take the time to, reflect even more on who Johnny was as a young adult, getting drafted by the Flames to who he grew up to be. And, we'll dive into that on today's episode. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. We'll be back to daily episodes in just a few weeks now. That hockey's back this month with some preseason matchups, which is exciting. I cannot express how much I love the city of Calgary. If there is one thing Flames fans do, it is show up. Whether it is the viewing parties during the playoff season or during the playoffs, I think back to a few years ago how there were the watch parties and then there was some bullying. So, the people that sing that Win the Cup song backed out of performing. Or to something as serious and sincere as Johnny and Matthew passing. You guys in the city showed up with purple Gatorade, Skittles, your own jerseys, shirts, hats. It shows how deeply loved the Gaudreau family is in Calgary, and I think that that's something that they brought to the city. Johnny brought it with them. It wasn't just Johnny, it was Johnny and Meredith, it was Johnny and Guy, Johnny, Guy and Jane, and obviously it was always John and Matty. Katie, I remember Katie would be on Twitter liking posts that didn't, she wasn't tagged in, she wasn't mentioned in, just liking all of Flames Twitter stuff. Same with Jane. And then, of course, you have Uncle Jim, who is a staple in Flames Twitter. But it's such a strong community. It is so heartbreaking to see two lives cut so short by such a reckless and selfish decision that it's hard to make sense of it all. And I can't get over how quickly this memorial came together and grew. It started with just a few things. And then it started growing more on the staircases and the sidewalk chalk messages to even like non-Flames fans showing up and paying their respects. I have so much respect for Calgarians and just showing up for this, because Johnny was a staple in Calgary during his time there, and he reinvigorated the image, and he got people excited. And to leave that legacy behind, as well as the kindness and naivety, uh, it is just, it's great. And I think it is just so beautiful. Like, no one like Craig Conroy said in a media appearance today, no one wishes they were there. They wish this wasn't happening, which is 200% correct. But to see everyone kind of come together and grieve as a community is it's not heartwarming. That's not the right word, but it's comforting knowing that, you can message a Flames fan on Twitter and just, hey, how are you holding up? Like, and it's well reciprocated. It's not cold or hostile. Everyone has leaned on each other throughout the hockey community as well. And I cannot begin to imagine what friends and family and, former teammates are going through. It's so difficult to like think of that and to go down that path. And you can tell that the love and support has just been, really overwhelming. I mean, the GoFundMe for Matthew's wife, who's expecting their first child here in 3 months, reached over $500,000. The goal was $30,000 and it reached over $500,000. Donations from NHL players, their families, strangers. And it's just that sense of community is so important when anyone is grieving. And I hope that the family, can kind of take solace in knowing that, people have their backs and they're not alone in this. And, I believe it was Katie who wrote, "This isn't a goodbye message because I'm going to keep honoring you." And I think that that's a beautiful way to put it, because just because they passed away doesn't mean it has to just stop. You can never stop talking about the legacy of the Gaudreau brothers. And we're going to talk more about how other people have been reacting. Craig Conroy, Columbus fans, Ryan Leslie, and even the coach of Boston College hockey, Boston College football. This weekend, their season kicked off and had a really nice message. And we'll be right back after this. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com, download America's #1 sportsbook. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's episode of Locked On Flames. You can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. It feels very weird to promote my Twitter and do any of that in these types of episodes. So I apologize. But one of the biggest things that's impacted, I think, a lot of people through this is the teammates, right? A lot of The Flames were just together earlier this month for Noah Hannafin's wedding, and then a couple weeks before that at Mangiapane's wedding, and I remember seeing pictures from both of those days, and everyone was so excited and so happy that Johnny was there. I don't think any of the people in the pictures that were circulating at that time were even on the team anymore. Like, none of them are Flames, but they were together, and that shows you the brotherhood and relationship that they've been able to maintain over the years. And Rasmus Andersson posted, just how devastated he is and how his wife is, not doing well. He's not doing well. Um, their son is a little too young, I would say, to remember Johnny, but, it's still hard regardless. The Nationwide Arena tribute is beautiful. I've seen so many art pieces, more hockey sticks, Gaudreau shirts, Gaudreau jerseys, messages, candles, whatever feels right to be there, and expressing your grief. There was a picture that was going around of a young kid being consoled by his mother. That kid was probably so excited to grow up and watch Johnny Gaudreau help bring the Blue Jackets to the next level. And, people lost a role model and someone that they just deeply cared for. And you can call it parasocial, you can call it whatever you want, but like when you watch these guys play night after night after night, like, of course you're going to feel some sort of attachment to them. That's why people get so upset about trades. Like, you don't get to watch your favorite player anymore. The Boston College football coach, when they won yesterday, addressing the media after the game, he just said, like, before I get into any of this, want to just like extend our deepest condolences to the Gaudreau family after losing John and Matty. Like, it's things like that. Like, they haven't been at BC for 10 years. It's just crazy. And the Mets, the Yankees, I believe the Reds did something, or the Guardians. It's just like, this is something that is felt so deeply around multiple subcultures. Ryan Leslie shared a really good story today, and this is something I hadn't heard before, and I'm sure it's made its rounds in the years past, but Ryan Leslie shared that his daughter, all she wanted for her 13th birthday was a G-Wagon, because her name starts with G, so she wanted something to match. And Ryan Leslie was like, yeah, okay, whatever. He called Johnny and said, you have a G-Wagon? Can you help me out? And Johnny, Meredith, and Ryan all went to pick his daughter up from school. Like, there's Johnny Gaudreau picking you up from school. Like, how cool is that? And he took pictures with everyone. He took pictures, obviously, with Ryan Leslie's daughter, and then drove her home. Like, I'm sorry, there is no birthday gift that would ever top that. Like, that would be like my fun fact for everything, like every college class. Oh yeah, my fun fact is that Johnny Gaudreau picked me up from school on my birthday and drove me home. Like, that's it right there. Craig Conroy just talked about it in an interview with Sportsnet, not too, like, probably an hour or so ago, about how John just wanted to play hockey. He did not care about anything else. He did not care about paying rent. He did not care about paying his taxes. He did not care about anything but the game of hockey. And Conroy just talks about how, oh, like, you get paid in American dollars, but your rent is in Canadian. So, like, we have to, like, convert that and get you a Canadian bank account, blah, blah, blah. And John wanted nothing to do with it. He did not care. And when it came to taxes, like, what do you mean I don't have this form? Like, John, it's in your stall. It's just like, it is very age appropriate behavior, I feel like, for most young adults. But it's even funnier when you realize it's like a professional athlete who can just, they still have that mindset. Like, they're still a human being. They just care about that one thing. And every single story that you hear somehow makes your heart grow 10 times larger. Every video that was shared over the weekend of John and Matty out, hanging out, whatever the case may be, just like those two, like, there was no John without Matty and Matty without John. I believe that's what Meredith said. And I feel like that, just based on the pictures that you see in the videos and the stories you hear, that is a very accurate statement. Meredith's sister posted a video of John sneaking out of his own bachelor party to go hang out with Meredith at her parents' house. Like, family and love and kindness and just being a genuinely good human being is the foundation of that family. And I think we can all take something away from that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about, what it means to be a good person and how, we can continue to honor the Gaudreau brothers right after this. I hope you're all having a good day today. It's first day back after a long weekend for many of us. I hope you enjoyed what you could of the weekend and are ready to take on another week. There's so much that you just, like, never imagined you'll talk about or have to think about until it happens. And wanting number 13 up in the rafters as soon as possible is not something I thought we would be discussing in 2024. I thought that this would be something we would discuss 6 years, 7 years from now, because I did not anticipate it ever being a topic of conversation and a real push for it to have that happen in 2024. And there was a video going around from, I believe it was the end of his last season in Calgary, and how he wanted to be remembered. And it wasn't for being, the best hockey player or having won the Hobie Baker Award or anything like that. It was about being a kind person and being a caring person and how much he loved the city. And that's important. I'm sorry, but no number of Stanley Cups matters when you are a good person. It does not matter. Every single person that has come out, and the first thing they say isn't about, that Hobie Baker Award. It is about who he was as a person. And you can tell from every post that gets posted there, whether it's from people within the hockey community or people that knew John personally, he was just someone that radiated positivity, goofiness, happiness, and kindness, like just so thoughtful. And I feel like we can all carry that with us, right? We should all strive to, take that extra moment and be kind. Or maybe you pay for someone's coffee or what, like, just to be nice to the people around you for no, you know, there to no benefit. Like, there's no ulterior motive. You are just a kind person. And when uh Jimmy Hayes passed away, they kind of started this slogan, tagline, mission, be like Jimmy. And yeah, I absolutely agree. And I feel like there should be another adaptation of that, unfortunately, um, of Be Like Johnny. Just so kind, so just unintentionally funny, trying to cash and deposit a signing bonus check at an ATM in a bar. Like, that's hysterical. Getting a Subway ham and cheese sub because you don't like sushi, but you still want to hang out with your friends. Great. Eating too much Nutella because you wanted to bulk up. Showing up to your NHL weigh-in and clocking in at 119 pounds and saying, "Yeah, like, I haven't been feeling well." Like, you've been, like, shedding weight from being sick. Like, that's like, it is just stuff like that is so funny, and what made him so endearing and charming. Like, every single story is so it just reminds you how tragic of a loss it is for both of them. You know, Matthew was gonna be a father, first-time father in just a couple months. There's no recovering from this, and while the losses will be felt throughout the hockey community, imagine the pain those closest to them feel. Um, I really think there needs to be some sort of statue, number retirement, or something at the new arena. Personally, I think waiting until then to retire 13 is not doable. I think that would be best to be done, maybe not in a month from now at the home opener, but something. And the new arena, I guess, is on like 13th Street. So I saw someone say, why not name it Gaudreau Way or something like that to, pay tribute? You have to do it in the biggest way possible. You were going to do it regardless when he hung up his skates. But unfortunately, that opportunity has presented itself much earlier than any of us ever expected. Um, Naming the community rink after him, something. There is nothing that's like out of like off limits. I feel like whether it is the Flames Foundation and the alumni group that does something, or if it's like the Flames themselves that put something together, um, I do think there will be some sort of legacy foundation for him. And I don't necessarily expect that to be done immediately. I really don't think the family's first priority right now is getting back to, um, you know, Craig Conroy about anything. I can't imagine that they want to do that. They have to. they have much bigger things on their plate right now. So, like, if you are upset that they haven't announced a jersey retirement game by, October 1st, don't be. It's unfortunately, it's not that simple. And if it does, then, that's probably that's neat. There's just so many moving parts to grieving. Um, and I can't even imagine having to do it twofold. So, again, thoughts and prayers are always with anyone impacted by this. Please drive safe. I'm not even joking. I'm not even just talking about sober driving. I'm talking, stop, put the phone down. Don't get aggravated because someone hasn't gone yet, because someone's going slower than you want. Like, be patient. You hit the red light, great. Think of that as like a blessing because you don't know what could happen. And I found myself getting upset today on my way home, half an hour ago. And then I remembered I'm here. Like, it is not anyone else's fault that I'm upset but myself. This car's driving slow. Okay, well, maybe they're also being extra careful because they're impacted by this. Or they just drive extra slow to be extra cautious. Like, all of this has made me re-examine a lot of parts of my life. And I think a lot of people are in a similar boat. And I think just the biggest thing that we can do is continue to be kind and be thoughtful and be cautious drivers. Um, and remember that, if it wasn't for Johnny, players like Cole Caulfield probably wouldn't get a second look. So that'll do it for me on today's episode. Your legacy off the ice and away from your office is a lot more important and defining than who you were at your 9 to 5. I promise you. Your kids will remember the plays you showed up for or the baseball games you missed because you worked late. But I will see you all later this week. Hopefully, we'll have some contracts to talk about because I'm getting real tired of waiting for Jacob Pelletier, Goldschwint to sign. I'm getting real tired. And the Oilers put themselves in even more of a cap nightmare today. So that'll do it. And I'll see you all later this week. Stay safe, stay warm, stay cool, stay dry, stay hydrated, and be kind.